We have all seen many times presidents blaming each other when the numbers are bad and taking credits when they are good. Last week, the GDP report for the first quarter of 2025 came in negative, meaning the economy shrank, and President Trump blamed President Biden. Well, this week, with a better than expected job reports, President Trump took credit. Hey, and welcome back to the channel. If you are a social security recipient and new to the channel, please subscribe for more news and updates on social security. In today's update, we are diving into the latest US job report and why this matters not for the economy overall, but especially for you as a social security recipient. Let's start with the big headline. The US economy added 177,000 jobs in April, which exceeded analysts' expectations of 133,000. That's a significant development, especially given the economic uncertainty we have seen in recent years. Well, why this matters for you? Before we get into the numbers and what the administration is saying, let me explain why this is important to social security recipients like yourself. Now, when job growing is strong, more people are paying into the social security system, which helps strengthen the trust fund. It can stabilize or delay benefit cuts being debited in Washington. And a strong job market also trends to influence inflation and cost of living adjustments COLA, which determine how much your social security benefits may increase each year. Well, now, what the Trump administration is saying. As soon as the April jobs data was released, President Trump and his team quickly took credit, describing it as a proof that the economy is thriving under their leadership. Well, White House Press Secretary Levitt called this the second consecutive month where job numbers beat expectations. In their words, the US is entering a golden age for employment with more Americans working and earning better wages. Well, here is a direct quote from one of the Trump's advisors during a press briefing. We blew it out of the water last month. This is exactly what the president promised would happen when he assembled this team. The golden age is here. Well, whether or not you agree with the tone, we'll come back to why this kind of talk affects social security and COLA later in the video. Well, now let's talk about April jobs breakdown. Let's look at the details. 177,000 jobs were added in April, far more than 133,000 many experts predicted. Well, the underemployment rate remained steady at 4.2%, which is considered negatively low. Wage growth came in at 3.8% for the year. On the surface, these numbers sound like good news, but here is where you, as a retiree or social security recipient, should be cautious. Now, let's talk about wage growth versus inflation. Well, wage growth is 3.8%, but we must compare this to inflation, which is still hovering between 2% and 3%, depending on the measures used. Well, why does this matters? Because COLA increases are tied to inflation, and if wages don't rise faster than inflation, working families feel squeezed. And if wages are stagnant, the payroll taxes funding social security may stagnate as well, especially when adjustment for cost of living. So while 3.8% wage growth might sound positive, it's not significantly outpacing inflation. And that's a red flag if we want long-term stability like programs like Social Security. Now, what are the jobs being added? Let's talk about it. Let's break down which industries saw the most hiring in April. Number one, private education and health services. Number two, transportation and warehousing. Number three, leisure and hospitality. Number four is professional and business services. Number five is financial activities. Number six is construction. And number seven, government jobs. Now, the last one, government jobs, is especially important to watch if you depend on services or live in communities supported by federal employment. But here is something you need to know, and that is federal government jobs declined. Despite gains in overall government employment, the federal government actually cut 9,000 jobs in April. That brings 3 month total decline to 29,000 federal jobs, which is under 1% of the federal workforce. While that many not sound like much, it has real implications for local economies, especially in areas where federal employment supports everything from social security offices to a veteran care and postal services. But here is the catch. The official numbers might underreport job losses because if a federal employee is receiving servants pay or is on paid leave, they are still counted as employed until those benefits run out. Expect more federal job cuts to show up in future reports. And yes, that could slow service in agencies like the Social Security Administration. Well, now, what about the tariffs? Let's talk about it. Well, and how they are expected to affect jobs and inflation, which again ties back to your cost of living. In a recent interview, the Labor Secretary explained that tariffs were designed to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States. The idea is that by imposing tariffs, companies are encouraged to reinvest in US workers and infrastructure. Here is a quote. Companies are saying they are ready to invest billions in the US, and we are building up the workforce to match. Manufacturing and transportation jobs are growing steadily. The secretary says she does not expect short-term pain from these changes. In other words, no sudden job losses or economic shocks, but of course, time will tell. Now, let's talk about Social Security angle on tariffs. Why does this matter for Social Security recipients? If tariffs lead to higher prices, inflation could rise, affecting your purchasing power. If companies don't actually reinvest in American workers, job creation slows down, and payroll contribution into Social Security decreases. If government revenues fall, budget cuts to key programs, including Social Security or Medicare, become more likely. So it's important to keep an eye on whether these policies really result in a long-term job growth and stable prices. Whether Now let's talk about the impact of DOGE cuts. There were also a mention of a policy called DOGE, which stands for Departmental Optimization for Government Efficiency. Basically, a restructuring plan to cut costs and reduce federal workforce size. The Labor Secretary said this. There is no pain from these cuts. Local public sector jobs are growing, and we are seeing a positive shift closer to the people. Well, While this sounds optimistic, remember fewer federal workers could mean slower response times at agencies like the Social Security Administration and fewer resources to process claims or appeals. That's something retirees and people with disabilities should watch closely. Well, now, finally, let me close with a quick reflection or something we have all seen many times. I have already discussed that presidents are blaming each other when the numbers are bad and taking credits when they are good. Now, whether or not that seems fair, I want to be fair by myself. In these recent videos, I have discussed all these changes to Social Security Administration. Well, in the recent video, I have shared the negative GDP growth was linked to Trump's earlier policy moves. The video was based on facts, and many of you appreciated that. You can also watch that video of the GDP. Now, final thoughts. So here's the summary. Jobs are up more than expected. Unemployment is steady at 4.2%. Wages are rising, but not fast enough to beat inflation by a comfortable margin. Federal jobs are being cut, and it may impact social security services down the road. Tariffs policies are still unfolding, but the administration insists it will lead to long-term gains, and will continue to monitor all these because it impacts your cost of living, the long-term health of social security, and the services you rely on every day. Well, please subscribe so I can keep you update on these critical developments. Thanks a lot for watching this video. See you in the next video.